Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Channels. Welcome back to my channel. I have a long-awaited tutorial for you guys in this video where I'm going to show you how I do this spine, added my own spine to these little golden books like this one. So I'll show you little golden books that I have in my collection that I would like to make eventually. Obviously, you guys would know what little golden books look like, but they're wonderful hardcovers, make wonderful hardcover journals, and you can see though, they're very flat, and this, we need to extend that spine or make our own spine there. So I just got to show you two options here of two ways that I have made them. This way is where you literally just use the existing spine, but you're just kind of altering it. You're tucking them in to create the spine there. And then the way I did this one is I cut a piece of chipboard, sort of like this, which comes from something like this, just some chipboard, and I put a thin bit there, cut it the width of the spine, and then I added some fabric, so just some fabric on the inside to attach it to the inside of the covers here. But yeah, I will show you this later on, or I might have already shown you this journal. But with that, you don't get much of an extra spine if you just fold the flaps over. So I do prefer this method where I make my own spine and I can make that as big as I want, as wide or narrow as I want. So I like making 3 signature journals. So what I do is I cut a 4 centimeter spine so that I can have 3 signatures spaced out evenly 1 centimeter apart along that spine. So 4 centimeters wide, so I can have my 1, 2, 3 signatures. Hope that makes sense. So where do I get my chipboard from? I get this from the back of paper pads, which is great. So even like the back of sketchbook pads, drawing pads, paper pads, this is great. I just reuse it, rip off all the paper, or use all the paper, or if I haven't used it yet, I'll just rip off the paper pad and get the backing, and then this is what I cut out to get my spines. Obviously different paper pads will have different thicknesses. This one I use thicker, this is quite thicker than this, but yeah, just get a weight that you're happy with, or thickness that you're happy with, to add your spine. You could even just get really thick paper, copy paper. You could get the card from cereal boxes, biscuit boxes. If you want to just reinforce it, you can glue them together, lay them on top of each other to get them a bit sturdier if that is what you would like. So yeah, I've already pre-cut some of these pieces of chipboard or card, and now I have already, this is the one that I want to make today. I want to make myself a new faith journal, so I've already kind of prepared this one here. So I'll just show you for the sake of this tutorial how I go about getting it to this stage. So great thing about little golden books is that they are pretty easy to tear apart. Now I did that a bit heavy-handed just then, so if you do want to keep that intact, which I don't for this because I do prefer making my own spine, and I did cut more pieces of this for that purpose. So I will just pull this, and yes. Now when you get to this part, I use some pliers just to bend back these staples. So you could do this step first if you don't want to rip, like some come apart more easily than others. So it just depends what order you want. You can kind of peel back the gold foil to get to these staples so that you can take them apart. Some of the staples come apart a lot more easily than this. But these ones are strong as, my goodness. So I just kind of bend them so that I can then remove this. Wow, this one is like super stiff. They're usually not this hard to pull apart. But then this one we can pull apart here. Okay, it's not usually that hard, you guys. I'm sorry if this is like freaking you out right now. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm never attempting this because that looks way too difficult. It's usually not that labor intensive, but sometimes, yeah, they're really stuck on there, those staples. So then I just cut off this bit because, yeah, like I said, I'm not worried about keeping this intact. If I was, I would have been a lot less heavy-handed with this. But I know that I'm not going to use that, so just trimming that down so you have a nice straight edge there. I'm going to trim this down here as well. Like so. And you don't have to worry too much about these edges, how raggedy they are, because you will be covering them up with your fabric. So I just want to make it smooth for the sake of having a smooth surface to apply the fabric to, so that's not too ridgy and all that kind of thing. But in terms of how it looks, it's all going to get covered up anyway. So that is how I prepare my cover, and there's my beautiful pages. The great thing about little golden books is that they come in signatures, so that they come in the order and you can bind them into the journal in the order that they come in, so you can read the story if you want. So here's my cover like this. Now let's put that aside because this is the one I'm working on. The next thing I do, so like I said, I measure my chipboard, and however wide you want your spine, you just measure it like that. So I'm going to grab my ruler just to cut this down. So let's go along here. Like that. Now, you might have to experiment with scissors. You do need quite strong scissors to be able to cut through the thicker chipboard. And there is my beautiful spine. I'm just going to cut this because it's kind of sticking out a little bit and interfering with my line that I want to have. Again, if it doesn't line up completely perfectly, it's all okay. There might be a few little gaps here and there between your spine and your covers, but that it all disappears because when you fold it, you're going to create your own gap anyway so that the covers can fold. Alright, so next, let's put these ones aside too. You want to grab your fabric. So as you can see, this one I have this blue floral fabric. So I want to use some of this fabric that was gifted to me from one of my beautiful subscribers and one of my beautiful patrons, Kindred Spirit Susan. So since I know this journal is for me, and this journal is going to be a very special journal for me to document some special things, this fabric is special because, not just because of who it came from, but because of what's on it. You know, the blue butterfly, that is one of my symbols, and that's my symbol in the junk journal world. People think of me when they see blue butterflies. So I'm just going to trim off that thick edge there. And then what I want to do, I'm just going to flip this over because I just want to see how far or how wide I need to cut this fabric. So often you will have a bit of trouble keeping the cover as is with the writing. See how this one, the letter comes right to the edge, so the fabric kind of covers it when you put your fabric on. If the writing started like here, then I would have no problem doing like a wide chunk of fabric down there. But if it's closer to the edge, I'll do a thinner bit of fabric to minimize how much is covered of the cover. This one's great because there's quite a wide gap to the writing, so I can do a decent amount across there. And then I'm just going to trim this edge as well. I don't need to go all the way across for this project at the moment, but what I want to do is just kind of measure with my eyes how far across I want this to be. So I want to keep as much of the cover as possible, but I do want it to be quite sturdy, so I'm gonna maybe go to here, and that will be the width of my spine. Okay, so we'll just cut that all along there. Oh, and then got right where the tag is of this fabric, so just try to cut through that. Okay, now let's cut off this bit. So you do need quite a longish strip of fabric. I'm just going to find my straightest edge that I've been able to cut from this, and then all I'm going to do is get some glue. Now I use clear craft glue, and you could use fabric glue, Fabri-Tac, whatever glue you have. I wouldn't use a glue stick for this though, just because you want something strong with the fabric. So I put glue on the spine, and then I put glue just along where I want the fabric to be here, and then also here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is place, well, first of all I'm going to line these up again, like so, and then I'm just going to place this fabric right where I've placed my glue along that edge, like that. Alright, I'm just going to flip that over first, and then I'll deal with that. So now let's glue this side. I actually probably could have cut a wider strip, but I do like preserving the cover as much as possible, seeing as much of the image as you can. So I'm just going to fold this down here now, and then fold this piece up like that, and then all I want to do with the excess is glue it on top over here, and I will cut off that bit there, like that. Okay. And that is the inside. So now just flip that over. So now I'm just going to fold it and mark the edges. Now you will get probably a little bit of bubbling and things like that here. So just kind of press it out as much as you can. And then that's how you get your folds, so they're not stiff. That there's enough give in the, I don't know what you call that, the hinges, so that it can fold nicely and lay flat. So you do want to make sure that's molded nicely while it's still got a bit of give in the glue. Again, that's why I like this glue, because you can kind of lift things up, move things around. Other glue, once it's down and you don't get a second chance. With this, you can kind of move things around a bit if you need to. So I'm just going to make sure everything is secure. Again, if this was wider, this bit of fabric, if I had cut it wider, this would be a bit of an easier process to get it secure, but that's all right. Work with what you have. You just go with it. Anyway guys, I hope that was an okay tutorial. That's just like a in real time chatty tutorial. I'll try and do a different one for these other ones where it's more of like a proper tutorial with a voiceover, and I can edit it for you. But I like showing the real time as well, just so you can see the real process with mistakes and all, and yeah, just how I do things. Anyway guys, I hope you're doing really well. Give it a try at home. Love little golden book journals, they're always fun. And I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to journal your life, because your stories matter. Bye guys. A big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in July and allowed me to work full-time on this channel for yet another month. If you would like to become a patron in August and get access to videos, printables, and sneak peeks, first access to all my creations, at the Ruby tier you get every single digital kit from my Etsy plus a new one every month. There's also personal updates and behind the scenes looks, so feel free to sign up. The link is down below in the description box.